Yes. Welcome to another episode of the New Haven Connectz Podcast with me, your host, Montezuma Biko, and my lovely co-host,
K Dubb.
You know what I mean? And we're going to touch on a plethora of topics ranging from, politics to religion to current events to movies and all that stuff. So welcome to the New Haven Connectz Podcast. K Dubb has a topic that she'd like to touch upon. K Dubb, I'll leave the floor to you.
Okay. Usually I'm not one to talk, but I'm going to start off with, we want to talk about transgender in sports. It's been kind of in the news lately because, especially in Connecticut, this is why I bring it up.
Oh, wow.
It's this student athlete. Mm-hmm. I will not reveal where she go to school because I don't know. Her name is Selena Soul, and she has been breaking the news, the web, shutting down the courts. No, I'm just kidding. But she has been out and around because she is upset because two transgender women beat her out in track and field. She's a runner. I don't know what type of running. I just know they just run straight. It's not like they jump over anything or they pass anything. They just straight running. These transgender women, they came in first and second, and from what she has told the world, there's been a couple of events, games, I don't know what they call them, and every game, the two transgender women, they either come in first or second, and everybody else falls, third, fourth, fifth, sixth, blah, 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 blah. And in order to go to nationals, the first six go straight to nationals, and I believe the seventh person have another chance to, go into a regional and maybe make it to the finals or semifinals.
Okay.
But so her issue is because of these two transgender women that are now competing, I don't want to say regular women, but every woman that is not transgender, they are literally competing to be third, fourth, fifth, and sixth. So it's no longer competing to be number one. You're just competing to even make it to third. And she feels like it's unfair and that something needs to be done about it. So, just to go off on her, I do agree with what she's saying, only because I know that genetics and science says that males are physically more muscular than females. Yeah. So no matter how hard you train, build muscle, and whatever the case is, you could still most likely never even get to the level that a man could get to. Not trying to take away the transgender women's, identity because they want to be women and they feel like they're women and that's how they want to be treated. But at the same time, genetics are not on your side. You still have male traits. And in sports, it's unfair because you kind of have an advantage. It's not even kind of. You most likely have an advantage because you're more muscular. You're going to be able to run faster. You're going to be able to get more muscle on your calves. You're going to be able to get more muscle in your thigh, more lean and more tight. And it's just, And I read this article. It's a scientific journal that somebody did in this experiment with 6 men and 6 women, and they measured all types of muscles and body parts and over time, just to see, if a woman could be more muscular than a man.
Yeah.
This article was done by A.E. Miller. He is in the Department of Physical Education at McMaster's University in Hampton, Ontario, Canada.
Is he a doctor of some type?
Not sure. I didn't look into that much. He wrote the article and he did the experiment, so I don't really. That's all it says about him in there. But from his findings, it says that 52 to 66% of women have, like, okay, let me say that again. 52 to 66% of women can be as stronger as the man.
Okay.
Respectively, between the upper and lower bodies.
All right.
So that gives a 34% range of men being absolutely stronger than women. If that makes sense.
Yeah.
So about 66% of women could be as strong as men. So the rest are definitely not. So you have a 34% chance of a man being stronger than a woman. Is that fair for them to compete against each other?
Yeah, absolutely not.
So that's kind of what I'm trying to say. If it sounds like it's coming out weird, I hope y'all understand what I'm trying to say. Yeah. And it also say that men are stronger relatively to their lean body mass. And what a lean body mass is your total weight of your body minus all weight due to your fat mass. And that's with like organs, skin, stuff like that, they are usually all the same about pounds, and it's not like your heart gonna be 2 pounds heavier than it was 3 years ago. It's usually going to be around the same weight, so you have to minus that to get your lean body mass.
I'm sorry.
No, go ahead.
So with women, their body mass index would have to be different because women have more fatty tissue on their body. Not saying that it's like fatty tissue, like say like in the breast, breast areas and to widen out the hips and those types of
the things
fatty
you can't control.
Yeah, absolutely. So it's like to be held to that same metric as what to formally be a man, but it's still man with musculature and testosterone, and I mean it goes without saying it's common sense, but you know where this is headed, K Dubb.
So you're saying that the fact that men and women can even be on the same scale on the lean muscular thing, like the lean body mass, that like man's body, a lean body mass scale should be different from a woman's?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely.
All right. So basically the point of the lean body mass is exactly kind of what you said. Women have more fat tissue in their body, and it's not something we can control. Men don't have breasts. Breast is literally all fatty tissue. It has a little bit of muscle, but it's not. You don't need to move your boob. Men have muscle right there. That's how men are able to. You ever seen like a chest jump when they like pop their chest? Whatever it is. Yeah. That's because it's muscle. We don't have that muscle. We cannot physically do that unless maybe we chop off our breasts. And even then we probably can't because there's no muscle there. That's literally kind of just all fat.
I think there are some women that can do that because
with their boob?
It's the pectoral muscle and then it's the fatty tissue of the boob. But underneath is all the muscles that would be there from...
So if somebody cut off their boob, they could probably be seen.
Like if they have that mastectomy or something, or where...
Yeah, and then they worked out that muscle and they're able to jump it.
Yeah, you probably
okay. Muscle in there. But either which way, you still got all that fat before the muscle that guys don't have. Absolutely. That they don't just cut off.
Yeah,
like
it's unfair.
Yeah, and then we also have the hips and everything like that, like you said, because our hips, our our pelvis is different from a male's pelvis. It's wider than a male. So, of course, you're going to need more tissue to go around the wideness, which is part of fat. It doesn't go towards the lean. So...
Plus your stomachs, because it has to account for expansion when there's a child in there. Your whole reproductive system is all up in there. Yeah, so it's like a woman getting punched in the stomach is very different than a man getting punched in the stomach.
That is true.
You know what I'm saying?
And I feel like we have maybe, no, I guess your organs count too. Okay, never mind. So that is part of it too. So if a transgender woman is competing with a non-transgender woman, and this non-transgender woman, she automatically has more fatty tissue, which means her lean body mass is going to be higher than the non-transgender women, because that woman doesn't have the fatty parts that a non-transgender woman has.
Yeah, I would agree.
So that's already a disadvantage or an advantage to transgender women.
Definitely.
And then, other parts that they said in here was that the women had 43, 41, 30, and 25% smaller muscles in the biceps. Total elbow flexors. I'm not sure what that is, but it's in there. Vascular laterals and total knee extenders, respectively, to men. So the highest percent of women being smaller was 45. So that's another disadvantage that they have. Their elbows are smaller, whatever this is. I'm sure you sports people know what I'm talking about. Excuse me for not knowing too much about this. And it also says that men have significantly larger type 1 fiber areas. Not sure what that is, but it's higher than a woman's, and it has to be important.
Maybe I don't know. It may make the men's muscles denser. Like
I'm sure these sports people, I know they know what I'm talking about.
You gotta bring
and if you don't, look it up. This is point of podcast. If you don't know, you look it up.
Yeah.
And then, just to wrap it up, basically it says, his data suggests that greater strength of the man was due primarily to larger fibers. So I guess these fibers are very important. And women did not have as much as men. And then it also says the greater gender difference is in the upper body strength. And it can attribute to the fact that women have lower proportions of their lean tissue distributed through their upper body.
So, that right there just explains away people, transgender people compete on the same physical level as a normal woman or a normal man. But you brought up the very good idea of how people with special needs, they have the Special Olympics to accommodate them and their abilities, because you wouldn't have someone with MR go up against Michael Jordan, you know what I mean? And so you'd mentioned that they should have transgender Olympic.
Why not? Or whatever type of word they want to use.
Yeah, some type of competition,
Not for nothing, I kind of don't care what people think about me. So if this comes out rude, just know I'm not trying to be rude. Yes, but the LGBTQ community, they want to be separated, but then also included. And it's like, how do you do both?
Oh, wow.
So, like, when somebody feels like they're being unfairly treated, it's like proven because you have an advantage, they want to bash that person for feeling some type of way. Like, we all have our opinions. We all have what we can feel. Mm-hmm. So, not get over it, but...
Yeah, I completely agree. Well, thank you for joining us with the New Haven Connectz. Goodbye.